Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say how much I miss everybody. I miss seeing everyone. I hope that we get to see each other again soon. I wanted to make a video for our week 2, day 2 lesson over purchasing power. So what purchasing power is it starts from this idea of a consumer price index, which is how much prices have gone up over the years. So, for example, in 1980, whatever the prices were, they went up 150% from 1980 to today. So, these prices going up, we actually call that inflation. So, that's one of our really important words that we're going to talk about. And we're actually going to learn how to find inflation, right? So, the steady increase in prices is called inflation. And then we're actually going to learn how to find the inflation rate. And there's going to be a formula, and it's right down here. We have a formula for inflation rate that we'll go over. Okay. All right. So the inflation rate is the percent that the prices increase over time. Okay. So we have this example here. In January, our average cost of food was $143 per week. And then the cost increased and it went up to $159 per week. Okay, so first of all, this $143, that's important. That's going to be our initial, our original price, right? So that's important to remember. Nope, it's highlighting way too dark. Let's see. Let's try it this way. All right. And then at the end of the year, it was $159 a week. So that was our second price, right? So 159. And then what was the inflation rate? So what was the percent of that the prices increased over this year? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the steps on how to do this example. Just hang with me. All right. So step one, we need to figure out what that price increase is because that's the first part of our formula for the inflation rate is the price increase. So the price increase is where you take the end price and you subtract the beginning price. So if you look, they have 159. 159, that was the end price. That was the price that we ended with. Okay, so 159 was the price that we ended with. Okay, it's the price that got highlighted super darkly. There we go. And then the 143, that was the beginning price or the original price. So that was that 143 at the very beginning. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure that we're color coding correctly. There we go. All right, so 159 was that end price, and then 143 was that first price. So when we subtract them, we end up with $16. That is our price increase. So that's going to go there in our formula. Okay, so our price increase is $16. And now we want to divide by the original price. So the original price is the same thing as saying the starting price or the beginning price. So that was the 143. That's our original price. So that's how they got step 2 is we divide to find the inflation rate. So what did we divide? We divided the 16, that was the price increase, and we divided it by 143. Where did we get 143? That was the original price. So when we divided those, we ended up with this decimal 0.1118. Okay, so that is not a percent because it doesn't have a percent sign. And so last week we went over how do we change a decimal to a percent. And we learned that all you do is you move the decimal twice to the right. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take that decimal, we're going to move it twice to the right. And my pen is too big, so let's make a smaller pen. Let's see here, smaller pen. Alrighty. So when we have a smaller pen, we move the decimal over twice, and it goes right between those two ones. And so now we have 1 decimal 1/8. And so it says to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. That's one number past the decimal. So I only want one number past the decimal. So I'm going to look at that second number past the decimal. If it's more than 5, then I round up. So that's how I get 11.2. And then, of course, we add the percent sign. And so that's how we got 11.2%. Okay, so that is how you find the inflation rate. You can watch that part again if you want to go over it again more slowly. You're more than welcome to watch that as many times as you want. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to the second example of how to find, now that we know how to find inflation rate, how to find the purchasing power. Okay, so as a inflation rate goes up, the purchasing power goes down. So the purchasing power is how much a dollar will buy you. So again, think about back in the day, a dollar could buy you a whole bunch of things. You could buy a whole bunch of cheeseburgers because cheeseburgers were only like 10 cents. Whereas today, you know, a cheeseburger is at minimum $1, so you could only buy one cheeseburger. So as inflation rate goes up, so as prices go up, your purchasing power, how much you can pay with a dollar, is going to go down. Okay, so let's go ahead and highlight that vocabulary. Purchasing power is how much a dollar will buy. And then we have this example. Neil's income is $27,000 per year. During the year, the inflation rate was 4%. What was the purchasing power of Neil's income after inflation? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply to see how much the decrease in purchasing power was. Okay, so if it's 4%, right, the first thing we knew is to change that 4% to a decimal. So remember, we just moved the decimal over twice. That's how we got 0.04. And then we're going to multiply that by the income. So when we multiply that by the income, we get $1,000, $1,080. So that is what we call, that's the first part, right? And that's the decrease in purchasing power. So this is how much the decrease was. So again, what we just did is finding the decrease in purchasing power, right? When we multiplied the percent by the income. So now to actually find the purchasing power, we're going to subtract that amount because that amount is how much it went down by. So we're going to take the original income, right? So our original income was 27,000, right? And then we're going to subtract the decrease in purchasing power, and that was that $1,000.80. So 1,080. So we're subtracting 1,080, and that came from up there. All right, so when we subtract that, we get $25,920, and that's what his purchasing power is. So what that means is that even though his income was $27,000 a year, it's only worth $25,000 now, right? So, or 25,920. So after a year, what he could use to buy with $27,000, he can only buy 25,920. So that's how we find the purchasing power. All right, so again, you can watch this video as many times as you need to. Look at the different examples and watch them as many times as you need to before trying the problems on your own.